Might not see the field at all. ESPN Analyst casts doubts on Shedeur Sanders' role in rookie season with Browns. During an analysis on Wednesday at the ESPN Cleveland show, the analysts shared their thoughts on Shedeur Sanders' role in the Browns setup. Sanders' NFL journey has been a lot different than what many fans expected. While he was projected to go in the top 10 picks during the 2025 NFL Draft, he ended up getting picked as the 144th overall pick by the Cleveland Browns in the 5th round. However, the ex-Colorado star has kept a positive attitude and has been putting in the hard work at training camp. Shedeur impressed the fans with his performance during the preseason game won against the Carolina Panthers, where he completed 14 of 23 passes for 138 yards and also scored 2 touchdowns as the Browns clinched a 30-10 win. Despite his impressive performance during the preseason debut, Shedeur Sanders' starting quarterback role is uncertain. While some analysts predict that after Joe Flacco starts for 6 odd games, the Browns should let Shedeur take the reins in his hands, others don't believe he will get so many opportunities. Chad Johnson offers advice to Shedeur Sanders for dealing with oblique injury. Shedeur Sanders sustained an oblique injury during a practice that took place on August 13th and only took part in the next week of practices in a limited capacity. After missing the practice on Tuesday, Shedeur was back on the field on Wednesday and participated in 11-on-11 drills. Upon the news of Shedeur's injury, Chad Johnson said that the NFL teams need to bring him in with his PowerPoint presentation on how to keep the players from getting hurt. The studio lights cut across the screen like scalpels, bright, unforgiving, designed to turn doubt into spectacle. Might not see the field at all, the analyst said, voice steady as a metronome. On cue, the pundit's words walked into the room and sat down next to Shedeur Sanders' reputation, folding his hands across it and smiling like a man who'd come to collect rent. Inside the Browns facility, the morning smelled of turf and coffee and the soft metallic tang of locker room conversations. Coaches moved with the urgent grace of people building things that will be judged in minutes. Players joked in clipped bursts. Somewhere a ball thudded against the net, an endless metronome of try again. Shedeur watched the clip on his phone, not because he wanted to, because the world wanted to put him in a pressure cooker and watch the lid rattle. The analyst's case was tidy, rookie. Unfamiliar system. Veteran competition. The elements that made for a good story and a bad forecast. It was the sort of verdict that swallowed context and left a headline. He slipped the phone into his locker and closed the door with the care of someone sealing a small, private room in which to think. Outside, the field did not care for narratives. Grass did what grass does. The sun made no promises. The snap still had to be clean. There's a peculiar loneliness to being forecasted into absence. Athletes learn to hear the roar and the whisper in equal measure. Praise can lift you, doubt can sharpen you. But there's something else, a sensation like a shadow moving across a sundial. The clock still ticks. You either heat the patience into preparation, or you let it cool into quiet. Shedeur chose heat. His day became an architecture of tiny insists. Footwork drills that demanded the staccato work of a watchmaker. Route trees rehearsed until his hands remembered the exact place a ball should kiss a palm. Film study that read like confession. He likes to lean here. He tend to open early. He breathes through that throw. He cataloged mistakes not as moral failures, but as coordinates to be corrected. Around him, the Browns' ecosystem hummed. Coaches exchanged glances that could mean many things. The incumbent quarterback moved like a man defending a claim he thought was rightly his. Veterans offered counsel that tasted like gold and ice. The analyst's words had been a gust of wind that reminded everyone how brittle the leaves could be. Fans, of course, had opinions. Social feeds were a tide pool of reactions. Some indulgent, some vitriolic, others poetic in their impatience. Shedeur read some, skimmed others. He learned to separate the signal, the useful noise that pushed him to better, from static that wanted only to make him small. At practice, the drills felt heavy with theater. Every snap carried the weight of speculation. Every 3-step, 5-step drop was a line in a play that might not be performed. And yet, there was an odd freedom in rehearsing for something the critics claimed wouldn't happen. If you were told you might not play, you had nothing to lose and everything to prepare for. The mind could be cruel, but the body could be honest. The analyst's clip had been sharp, but it was not destiny. It was a prediction, a shadow on a sunny day. Shadows move with light. Shedeur treated it like a challenge and not a verdict. He kept score not by the pundits' hour-long categories, but by the small metrics no one televised. A quicker pivot, a steadier pocket presence, a throw that threaded where the light was smallest. There were moments when doubt pressed in like humidity. When a rep went wrong, when the timing slipped, he felt the analyst's voice echo like an echo in a subway. But he also had other voices, his trainer reminding him to breathe, a teammate's clipped, encouraging curse. The one inside him that recited a memory of a throw made in high school rain that had felt, for all the world, like destiny. The media cycle would churn. The analyst would say his piece and move on to the next dramatic assertion. But inside the building, the work continued in the patient, stubborn register of practice. Plays were run not for cameras, but for craft. Each completion was a small rebuttal. Each dropped pass a note to return and fix the music. By late afternoon, the sun had softened. Shedeur sat on the sideline, helmet off, chin in his hands, watching his teammates take reps that crackled with possibility. He thought about the phrase "might not see the field at all," and how language could both wound and motivate. It was a forecast born of probability, not prophecy. He could not control the talk show's ratings, nor the way headlines liked neat endings. He could only control the work between his hands and the ball. When practice ended, reporters gathered like gulls. Someone asked about the analyst's comments. Someone else asked whether he'd internalized the doubt. He smiled, patient and small as a sunrise. "I don't control predictions," he said. "I control how I prepare." It was not an answer that would make for a viral clip. It didn't explode or veer into sentiment. It was a simple, grounded sentence, a bricklaying of character. Outside, cars streamed south down the highway. The studio would replay the soundbite tonight, likely neck to neck with 100 other opinions. The analyst would sleep on a pillow stuffed with certainty. Shedeur walked to his car with a quiet in his chest that had nothing to do with silence and everything to do with focus. Headlines would do what they do: amplify fear, sharpen narrative. But the season, long and granular, belonged to those who kept showing up when the ink dried and the microphones cooled.